And Michael.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. I am your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
Never schedule Army.
Why? What's going on with them? What's going on? What happened?
No, nothing major. Just beat Kansas State in their own house. I think Kansas State ran up until the last 3 minutes. They had 4 offensive plays from the line of scrimmage in the second half. 4, and I think they ran maybe 4 more or 5 until throwing a game-sealing interception, as Army had just scored the previous possession. So it's just don't schedule them. Don't schedule them. Also, Mississippi State up 17-0 at home versus Arizona State. It is now tied at 17. This has been, I feel like we'll get to the Tech game. By the way, Texas Tech won. They beat Kent State. Yeah, they beat Kent State 62-14. Don't worry, we will get there. But I feel like I owe the college football folks an apology because I called this week 2, as in WEAK 2. These games have been fantastic all afternoon, all evening. There's been several really good games. So, yikes. Sometimes it becomes apparent that I don't know ball. How are you?
I really enjoyed the game that happened in Lubbock, Texas today. So
yes, we should probably talk about that one.
No, I'm good. We watched the game on a little bit of delay. We did the last move today. Move the stuff out of the apartment. So if you notice the background has changed again, you are now in 23 Personnel Coastal Bend HQ.
Permanent location. This is no longer an interim location. You have sealed the deal with the permanent location. Okay.
Semi-permanent, at least. We got to figure out the lighting situation. I got a lamp over here. That light, because it's like, if I turn it on, it's right behind my head. It's a big halo. So we got to figure that out. And I got to figure out the camera situation too. I'm using the webcam. I used to run, full on camera. But one, it was, up so I could look at the screen and look at the chat and the stats and everything, the notes or whatever, and be more in my eye line instead of looking down. All things that will get figured out. But we are ready to roll. Texas Tech was also ready to roll, Michael. Took down Kent State 62-14. Well, I say ready to roll. The final score would indicate that, but I have some lingering questions from this performance, Michael.
Yes.
And it starts with QB1, number 2. What were your initial, or his performance of the first half, or his performance today? He only played through the first half.
I mean, I thought he did really well. He wasn't asked to do much. He had a lot of time to do what he needed to do, so it was hard to decide exactly how mobile he was or, how he was feeling. I think he carried the ball once. The one thing that he had some great throws. His receivers weren't doing him a lot of favors here and there, but there was one drive where I was at the game and I have not had the chance to rewatch it because, as I said, there's been too much other good football on today. The drive in the south end zone where Texas Tech had to settle for a field goal. I wonder what happened on that drive, and I wonder if you could shed some light on it, because it looked like he was missing receivers from where I was sitting, but I was sitting at like the 10-yard line on the opposite side of the field. So I think that's where I'm at. I think there were some missed throws, especially on that drive, but there were also just some drops, some bad drops. So I think that 18 of 26 of those 8 completions or incompletions, it's probably about half on him and half on the receivers. What do you say? What say you?
Looking,
he only played the first half for those of us those of you who weren't able to watch, he just played the first half today.
If you looked at the stat sheet by itself, 18 of 26 for 258, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, completing almost 70% of his passes. Like, what's wrong, Spencer? Like, why are you being so negative? Why are you being so harsh on him? I would go back to like watching the game. Something was off. And I don't know if it's his leg, if he didn't have a great plant ability today. Like the throws he was missing, they were erratic. You didn't know, like, it wasn't like he was short arming everybody. Like there was a problem with his arm. Like he floated one to Aiken. And I was like, man, what the heck was that? Like it looked like the pocket was starting to collapse when he threw it, but like not that he had a guy in his face. Aiken was wide open and missed him. He missed several wide open throws and wide open receivers. And even on some of the completions he made wouldn't really indicate like the receiver did a lot to pull that ball in and not like it was a great throw. So I wonder again if like his leg was still bothering him and that he couldn't plant or couldn't, get a lot of power off it or something. I don't know. Again, the stat sheet says he had a great game, but watching him is like something's not right. And I'm not hammering Cam Dickey. This is not what I'm saying, but like losing your best pass blocking running back hurts. And I know there was a guy in the DMs today, or not the DMs, and the notifications. He's like all hyping up Adam Hill today because he finished as a leading rusher, 16 carries for 127 yards, averaging almost 8 yards a carry. Cool. I mean, great, but like one, that wasn't really the ultimate point of why I was like what I was bringing up when Joyner went down, and then everybody else was talking about, oh, it's okay because we have Adam Hill. It's like, but we should be talking about guys 1 and 2 getting more carries. Yeah, I had a little bit of tongue-in-cheek fun with him being from a 2A school. Okay, so he picked up 127 yards against the backups of one of the worst teams in the FBS. Cool. Good for him. Good for us, I guess. He also had the 1 turnover on the season. So it's like, I mean, this is very specifically to one person in the Twitter mentions tonight. All that to say, I think that like it's hard to put it into like to point to something specifically in the stat sheet or the performance today. It's like that's what I'm talking about. Besides, they're just visually something was off, and I don't know how to otherwise quantify that. You got to see all 3 quarterbacks again today. Hammond looked good I think he played at least all the third quarter, if not into the fourth as well. He finished with 7 of 10 for 94 yards, a touchdown. Griffiths was 2 for 2 for 19 yards. So on the day, your quarterbacks went completing 71% of their passes for 370 yards and 4 touchdowns. On the ground, you ran 42 times. So a little bit more on the run balance today, although you did have, the 2 kneel downs would only bring like you'd be two plays off of a 50-50 split if you took out the kneel downs. 230 yards on the ground, another 3 touchdowns, long of 36, average of 5.5 per carry. Virgil looked good. Aiken looked good. Williams had 3 catches for 35 yards, and like him being more involved in the offense was pretty cool to see. Alexander was getting a little bit more there in the second half. He had 3 catches. And then he had a lot of guys, a lot of younger guys catch a ball or two. Still quiet from Caleb Douglas so far this season. He did have let me see. I'm losing track. It was targeted 4 times, credited with two catches.
I believe at least one of those targets was in that red zone drive I was just talking about.
Yeah, I think there's only credit for one drop, and that was to Terrence Carter.
Yeah. That was on the far sideline. I remember that one.
And see, like, even that one was like, he was
it was
wide open.
fingertips.
Yeah, and he juggled it going out of bounds. So he completed the catch, but he was out of bounds. But like being wide open and then having those issues, like that was again, I think more on Morton missing him and putting it into a weird spot. Because he was open. On the day, you had 13 different receivers catch a pass. 5 of them had just one. Deaver, Valson, Hudson, Morgan, and Carter all had one. Dickey, John Carlos Miller caught a couple passes. CD, Bryson Jones had 2. Alexander, Williams, and Aiken had 3. Virgil had 5. Nobody had more than 59 yards, which was Aiken. And Virgil had 2 touchdowns. I'm loving just the explosive play nature of Virgil. He's just been just fantastic. Both of his touchdowns were just electric. One was a longer touchdown than 2. The one where like it was 1-on-1 and like it was just a beautiful catch, contested catch there in the south end zone. It was fantastic. Defensively, like your defensive line shone. It was just fantastic. Kent State finished the day with 64 rushing yards on 34 attempts, less than 2 yards per carry. You were in the quarterback's face all night. They had a couple escapes and able to complete a pass. I don't think they had positive yardage until halfway through the second quarter, like getting closer to halftime. They were negative yardage. Some of that had to do with the weird negative yardage they lost on the punt, where their punter caught the low snap and actually had his knee on the ground. I thought they were also kind of afforded the same liberty that like the holders were, that wasn't an issue, but that was a big time mistake, because I think it put Tech on the 12 and I think scored 1 or 2 plays later.
That was one of those things that this happened several times during the game. An official would be on the speaker in the Jones trying to explain what happened, and it's just completely drowned out by commercials, ads, whatever the hell's going on. I don't know. So the official did announce that, but it was just kind of completely muted by everything else. So we were all kind of looking at each other, wondering why the heck Tech was starting in the red zone after a punt.
Yeah.
And I think we heard enough, and people were starting to put it together. Kind of in our subconscious, we heard the explanation, even though there were 20 different other things going, and it's sometimes it's so loud in there you can't talk to the person next to you. But anyway, that was weird. I did take a photo because to kind of back up what you were saying, this is with 13:10 left in the third quarter. So, third quarter just started. Kent State had 80 total yards, which comprised of 83 passing yards and -3 rushing yards. At that moment, they had 3 first downs, and they were 1 of 9 on third down. So I kind of wanted to grab that, knowing that Hammond was out there, and probably there'd be some number 2s going in for both teams. But man, it was dominating. It was absolutely dominating. We got to see the thick six.
The thick six. That was a thing of beauty, man.
Golick got to call it. I loved getting to go to this game. We did have to leave a little after 1:30 to get to the Queen Bee soccer game and on time. but I will go back and watch as much of this broadcast as I can because I was really excited to hear Golick make on the call. I was excited to see how much he hyped up Lubbock on Twitter. He went to Evie Mays. He went to Spanky's. He was, saying, "Hey, we're here in town. We're looking forward to a great." I mean, just small, basic, normal human things that go a long way for for folks like us who are used to having ESPN Plus show up in a rented Camry with 4 people and a flip phone. So it was really nice to see some actual effort and some appreciation put in to what most people knew was going to be a lopsided matchup, but Turner and everybody, they brought their A game from what I can tell. I've seen nothing but good reviews about the broadcasts, and I look forward to watching it. But back to the defense. It didn't seem quite as stifling as it was against Pine Bluff, but man, still 3 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss. Like we said, it was negative yardage for what, at least 3 quarters on the rushing side till they finally got out of that hole from that crazy punt. But the defense they look scary, man. I think they look that's the one thing that I don't think is being the level of competition is not making the defense look better, if that makes any sense. There are bits of the offense where you kind of go, I don't know if these guys are going to be able to block as well against some other teams, or I don't know if these receivers are going to get this open, or if Barron's going to have this much time. But you would look at this defense, especially that front 7, and you go, I don't know how many people are going to run the ball on this defense, and I don't know how a quarterback is going to have more than 2 Mississippi back there on any given snap. And you just, whether it's going to come to fruition or not, I sure feel like it's what we're seeing is legit on the defensive side. It is soul crushing.
Yeah, so at halftime, Kent State had 52 total yards, minus 4 rushing yards. Third quarter, they were able to put up 39 total rushing yards. So they were at the end of the third quarter, they had 35 rushing yards and 155 total yards. They were starting to, let's see, the third quarter, they had 142 total yards. No, 103 total yards. Let's combining those. So they tripled their game total. They went from 50 to 150 in just one quarter. But
I think last week I just saw the QB hurry, Spencer. That's why I was going bonkers over here on camera. I think last week QB hurries was 4, something like that, and I felt like it should have been higher. They got credited with 10 this week.
It's a lot.
Yep.
Trying to find it. There it is.
Those QBs were in hell. It was really, really rough. I mean, resulted in 11 of 25 from both quarterbacks. They did get 2 guys out there. Completion percentage was 47% for DeShields and 40 for Montez. So, yeah, 11 of 25 total, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That interception still just a thing of beauty. And that is, we I don't know if Rob coined it, but at least in my world, in my mind, Rob has a big part of why I know the word fathlete. Skylar Howard, that's got to be one. No,
call him fat.
No, I'm just saying that's got to be one of the fastest. You watch, even in the stands, I couldn't believe how fast he was.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him in plays and how quick he is. But that was, you don't get to see a big man like that run break line speed like that. I mean, that was so impressive. I think one of my buddy Ace Man pointed out, I think he outran one of the running backs I think he outran Kent State's running back trying to on that return. And he didn't look like he was, sometimes you see a lineman get a interception like that or a fumble, and they're getting a little winded or they're getting a little nothing. Nope. And he was moving. My goodness. Imagine him coming at you.
No, thank you.
Pass. And you were in the Mountain West last year. This guy's coming at you. Good luck.
Making a business decision and getting out of his way.
Yes.
If you get a chance to rewatch one, just to play the highlight, it is on the Texas Tech football Twitter feed. I watched that earlier.
That is the one thing I've seen. I am
okay.
levitating in this booth.
if you want to go back and watch it, watch on the sideline. Watch for Zarnell Fritch's reaction. He sees it happening and he he's running on the sideline too. But you described what he looks like running. Like there's like he's moving fast, but he's not moving very fast, if you know what I mean. And like the camera is panning to keep up with, SGH, and like it's leaving Fritch in the background. But there are a couple of plays that like the guys on the sideline saw it developing first. You saw like them celebrate, and that's one of my favorite things to see. This goes back to, I think it was like that home game versus TCU with Kingsbury, one of his first games. I think the very first touchdown was like a sideline swing pass to Kenny Williams, and when he catches it, breaks that first tackle, like Kingsbury's jumping and pointing. And it's like 50 yards to go, but like he could see like he was not going to get caught,
like Kiffin used to do, especially at Alabama.
There was one where like I don't know who was celebrating, but it was on Aiken's long touchdown. He made the move to burn his defender, and like there's a coach on the sideline, just like with his fist in the air, like the ball hadn't even left Morton's hand yet, and he's like, "We got this." It's fantastic to see the guys on the sideline celebrate, like recognizing and celebrating first, or them celebrating their guy. When Fritch is chasing down a thick six. Going back to the defensive line, the broadcast team was super complimentary, and they were just effusive about like how disruptive and just absolutely dominating the entire line. It was Lee Hunter, it was Skylar Gill-Howard, Anthony Holmes, AJ Holmes got a lot of love talking about his following of Shield Wood from Houston to Tech, and then obviously David Bailey and Romello Height. They also spent quite a bit of time in the halftime, which did have Michael Crabtree in the studio there. But they were talking about, one of the analysts was talking about all the moves that the defensive ends had. 'Cause he's like, Bailey's got a power move. He's got a finesse spin move. Like he was blowing guys up. He's like offensive lineman up. He was putting them on skates. He was doing everything. He was doing whatever he wanted. And then on the flip side, during the broadcast, you saw like Romello Height, dude. He set up that left tackle once. Like he went so hard and fast to the outside shoulder, like it almost looked like the tackle was going to turn like a defensive back, like the bail coverage.
Oh, yeah.
And then he hit him with like a spin move inside, and the tackle's like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like he had that guy turning almost completely around in the wrong direction. It's fantastic. So I love to see that, like that step, more comfort and aggressiveness, and this week's performance as compared to last week. Love to see that it's progressing that way, not the other way. Like you had a great week one against, an FCS team, and now, as things start to evolve, yes, it was, Kent State and one of the worst teams in all of FBS, but
yeah, they've won one game since what, September 2023.
Yeah. It was great. I don't really have any complaints of the game. I watched the game knowing roughly what had happened. I knew the outcome. I didn't know how we got there. So watching it, like I knew score, but like I didn't know what Hammond looked like, or sorry, not Hammond. I didn't know what Morton looked like. I knew he started. So there's questions and concern there for me. Would assume without it being like a structural issue, like a break or tear or pull or whatever, he's going to have, just a little bit more time to heal and recover. If that's even what was causing his just being off this morning. Hammond looked good. They commented on his speed, going back to last week's run. There was a run that Hammond had up the right. And he said, EA Sports, you sure there was a 77 speed? Like going back to the tweet that Texas Tech made. I guess like if I'm gonna nitpick, like I would say the running game in the first half wasn't all that impressive, or like there's some issues there. Let's see, Texas Tech had 68 rushing yards in the first half. So they put up 162 rushing yards in the second half. They added 100 yards there. I have a hard time like nitpicking second half results, whether it's third down or fourth down conversion percentage or any of that kind of stuff, because like there for a long time, like Kent State still had their starters in on both sides. And you were rolling second and third team deep. And your offensive efficiency certainly slowed down with, going through your depth there. And I don't want to say that like they took their foot off the gas, but like rolling into halftime up 47-0, there's not a whole lot of external motivation, if you will, to do anything else. But like, we just got to go play clean and hopefully stay healthy. So it's like, I don't know. I don't have any real complaints with this game.
Same here. Mine is a nitpick. Let's all remember Texas Tech won 62-14. They did not cover, at least based on the line that we had in our podcast. It was 48.5. I mean, what a brutal way to not cover. But anyway, I think I saw later that a line was 47.5. That's not what I'm getting at. I don't care about covering or not. I didn't like there was 3 or 4 possessions. They weren't in a row, but 3 of 4 possessions at the end of the first, and the 2 that led to field goals. One of them, there was a 3 and out. That I'm not going to say that's inexcusable, but having a 3 and out in a game where you win 62-14 on your 4th drive, a little worrisome. The other thing that worried me was that field goal try where Texas Tech got stopped at the 5. That's the one that I've talked about. That's kind of my Super Bowl today. Talked about that a couple of times. I did mention during the podcast last week that it did seem like Kent State's defense was more of a bend but don't break. They had a decent red zone defense, at least against Merrimack. It was kind of tongue in cheek, but turned out to work out. Basically, at least this next one doesn't count because they stopped Texas Tech on the 29, so it was not technically a red zone score. But so you had the 3 and out punt, 8 plays, 32 yards, field goal where you were stopped at the 5, and then scored a touchdown on the next drive. But then on the following drive, after a fumble, Texas Tech went 9 plays and only amassed 16 yards, and then kicked a field goal on Kent State's 29. So just not a great stretch right there.
And that was
if we're picking nits here, that's kind of where I'm at. Please hear the tone of my voice. I'm not. Oh, we gotta figure this out. We got to get the offensive coordinator here and let me talk to him. No, it's nothing like that. It's just you see a little hiccup like that lasted 3 out of 4 drives against a team like this at home, it does make you worry a little bit. And you hope that it's just some hiccups that they're probably going to look at and discover and go, oh man, well, this is obviously what you should have done here or there, or, and get it sorted out, because it's going to matter a lot more when you do that kind of thing. When you come up with 6 points out of 3 possessions instead of possibly 14 or 21 or whatever, 18. You take that. Actually, I don't know if the math works. It might, if I tried really hard.
So I'm going back through the play-by-play here of that drive, and so the sixth was a 6 play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There was a 9-play drive for 16 yards that ended in a field goal.
Okay, yeah, it's that one. So you had a run up the middle for no gain, run up the middle for 5 yards, pass complete to Aiken for 11. So like, there's 16 yards right there on the first 3 plays. But then you go short, like pass for 6, rush for 6, incomplete pass, false start, so you lose 5 yards there, holding minus 10 yards there, and then a short pass for 3 yards, and then incomplete pass.
Yeah, so kind of a disaster, really.
Yeah, because you went first down, first and 10 from the 17, incomplete pass. Second and 10, you get the false start, so second and 15. And then on that play, you get the 10-yard holding call. So you go from second and 15 out to second and 25 on the 32. You were at first and 10 and 17. Now you're backed up 15 yards. You pick up 3 yards on second and 25, and then incomplete pass. But then, to be fair, the very next drive, Texas Tech and Baron Morton go 4 plays, 60 yards, and 30 seconds to score a touchdown.
So. Sure. I mean, that may have been, okay, we figured it out. It may have just, that was all it was.
So there was a drive that took you, it was a 4th down conversion touchdown there where the Kent State defense stopped you 3 times inside the 5.
Yeah.
And then you finally ran a zone read and Dickey walks in. But then you had a turnover and downs on your first drive of the third quarter. I know there were some boos the first quarter punt. And maybe like you would have liked to have seen some more aggression then.
That was a long 4th down too, I think. I don't know what people were thinking.
It was 4th and 4.
Yeah.
From the 39.
Like midfield. Yeah.
Yeah, not even quite midfield. But I think it was like they were just so used to it, like we're going to punt. But then on that drive, that opening drive of the third quarter, let me see, drives by team. You went, hold on. Yeah. So you even had well, you did convert a first down. It wasn't like a 4 and out. You get an offsides on your first play, so it's 1st and 5. Hill rushes for 4 yards. 2nd and 1. Hill rushes for 36 yards. Hill rushes up the middle for 2. Hammond rushes for 7 yards. So sorry. All right, 1st and 10. Hill rushes for 2 yards. 2nd and 8. Hammond rushes for 7 yards. So 3rd and 1. Hill rushes up the middle for no gain. Adam Hill rushes up the middle for no gain. Back-to-back plays. Get stopped on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. That's how you opened the third quarter. All right.
Kicking, I mean, we're still swapping guys out. I guess that's. I didn't hear. I'm blanking on the special teams coach, Kenny
Perry.
Perry. I was trying to combine the two names like Kerry Penny or something. I was like, that's not right. Anyway, I thought that wasn't going to be the case, but maybe I missed something that he said stating otherwise. But both guys came out for PATs and for field goal. Oh my goodness. Sorry,
watching now.
I'm watching Stark Vegas go crazy right now. So
are they beating Arizona State?
They are now. Arizona State went up by 3. They kicked a field goal with less than 2 minutes left. They were up 20-17. Mississippi State gets the ball with maybe a minute 40, no timeouts. And I think that was 3rd or 4th down just now, after an incompletion that thankfully stopped the clock for them a little bit. And they hit a wide open guy for a touchdown. So 30 seconds left. Mississippi State's currently up 23-20. PAT pending. This is nuts.
Yeah, the ESPN app has not updated. It was 3rd and 9 from the 42.
Oh, it was 3rd and 9. Okay, it was either I knew it was 3rd or 4th, and it was long.
So it went 58 yards on 3rd and 9.
PAT's good. So Arizona State is down 24-20 with 30 seconds left, and I think they have 2 timeouts. So it is definitely not over. But wow, I was not expecting that at all. Oh, just hit him. He was on the seam. Took off a little bit more time, probably not on purpose, with his route after he caught it. Wow. Crazy.
No, Arizona State could be in trouble. Down 4 with 30 seconds. I say could be in trouble. They're in trouble.
They're in trouble. They've got they've got to score a touchdown in 30 seconds.
Surprised that Baylor made the comeback. I guess let's
that's right. Yeah, we can do that
and wrap around. I said that twice now. I said that on the preview and now this one. Whip around. Okay, so UCF has beaten the brakes off North Carolina A&T, which we expect. Well, you expect that kind of 61-0, halfway through the 4th quarter.
I've got 68.
Oh, they just scored.
Yep.
You just gave the update. Arizona State, Weber State, Arizona. That one's delayed. I'm assuming it's a weather delay out there in the desert. BYU, Stanford. 4 seconds into the second quarter, BYU's up 9-0. Oregon just had their way with Oklahoma State, 69-3. Iowa State wins Cyhawks. Stop me if you want to talk about any of these games.
You're good.
Because I was working all day. I watched one game. It was Texas Tech, but I watched the entire game. Iowa State wins Cyhawk at home 16-13. So they're legit. Baylor making the comeback. They were down. Let me look at their box score.
I thought it was 38-24 at one point, or maybe I'm thinking of the Auburn score. I'm not trying to be funny, but it was something like that. It was pretty lopsided.
SMU scored. They got up 10-0. SMU got up 24-14 before half. Bryson Washington scores, so 21-24. Baylor tied it. The only score in the 3rd quarter was a Baylor field goal to tie it at 24 apiece. But yeah, SMU then goes and scores back-to-back touchdowns there to go up 38-24. And then Baylor responds the 48-yard touchdown pass and 21-yard pass. That last touchdown came with 34 seconds to go to tie the game. And then overtime, first period, they both score a touchdown. Second overtime, Baylor kicks a field goal. I guess SMU didn't get a chance or didn't convert.
Oh, Arizona State might have just turned the ball over.
Oh,
no. It was tipped. Yep, interception. That's it. Ball game.
hate to see it.
Wow.
I mean, for the Big 12 narrative versus SEC, like you don't like to see that because Mississippi State's not supposed to be good.
I think it was tipped. Yeah, I'm not positive. So Kansas renewed the rivalry with Mizzou, which was great to see. I don't think they've played since 2010, 2011. Started out all Kansas. Did I say
Yeah.
Kansas State? I'm sorry.
No, you were right. You're right.
I was right. It started out all Kansas, 21-6. The Mizzou crawled back in, scored 15 unanswered in the second. Everybody kind of settled down in the third quarter. But the fourth quarter, Mizzou pulled out ahead, scoring twice. I mean, that game was back and forth the entire second half, but I believe I watched some of this and it's all run together in a good way. I've watched too much exciting football this afternoon, but I'm fairly certain that there was a late interception that kind of sealed it for Mizzou.
Yeah, like going through the score, like it. The first half was marked by runs, like stretches where a team was just scoring a lot of points. So Mizzou
Yeah.
scores first, misses has the PAT blocked. So they go up 6-0. And then Kansas scores 3 touchdowns back to back to back in the first quarter to go up 21-6. But then doesn't score again until 5:48 left in the third quarter. So all of the second quarter scoring was Mizzou. They had a touchdown, a safety, and then 2 field goals. Those 2 field goals came within 63 seconds of each other. One at 1:03 left, one as time expired going into half.
Speaking of field goals, the pandemonium in Stark Vegas. The goalposts are down. They're being carried off, I think, by officials, but nope. They just showed another clip. Those are just students. Rushed the field after beating number what are they? Number 12?
12,
Arizona
yeah.
State.
Oh, well.
In the lowly Big 12. But yeah, that Kansas Mizzou game was great. I kept trying to watch some other ones. This isn't Big 12, but Oregon State goes down
Yeah, gotta keep
to
an eye on
Fresno
them.
State. Oregon State that was a back and forth one at home. They are now 0-2. Fresno State had a late interception in that game as well. That I think it was a pick six. Yes, it was a pick six, actually. Oof.
You saw that one Oregon State fan that said if Oregon State loses to Texas Tech, he's going to eat a poop burrito, poop filled burrito. And then after week 1, there was like,
never mind.
You going to drop that address? Where are we sending this to, brother? And then I sent them the RPI outlook after week 1. I was like, man, it was like 85-15. I was like, this is not going to go in your favor, brother. And after this week, I'm sure it's solidified. Anyways, the rest of the Big 12 really quickly. Cincinnati gets their winning ways going versus Bowling Green, 34-20. Colorado bounces back, takes down Delaware, 31-7. West Virginia, the 3-point favorite, ends up losing 17-10. We called it here first, folks, on the 23 Personnel podcast that West Virginia was going to struggle to find wins.
We did.
You talked about Kansas State already losing to Army a few moments ago, and then Houston defeated Rice 35-9.
Houston, I have yet to watch any Houston football, but they look not terrible.
Yeah. Willie Fritz, man.
Yeah. I mean, we knew it was going to happen eventually. I'm hoping that it doesn't happen too quickly. The resurgence of the possible resurgence of the Cougars, but yeah, they've had some very lopsided wins these first 2 games, which is not something you've seen in recent seasons with Houston. So I'm not trying to downplay it. I think that they're a team I need to look at a little bit closer when I get the chance.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for us here on the 23 Personnel Podcast. Texas Tech victorious today, 62-14 over the Kent State Golden Flashes. Getting ready to take on Oregon State next week. We will be back live Tuesday night for your preview, final recap of today's game. But until then, guns up, and we will catch you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at Punt Suck, and Michael at Michael_LBK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.